today we are here with another webinar, and yeah, maybe all of you are wondering how come Ram's face is blinking on the screen, and there's a female's voice coming out. So that's just because this is Ranjita here, and I'm Ram's assistant. I have been working with Ram for past 10 years, and today for some reason Ram is not here in the office, and he has passed this serious responsibility over to me to conduct this webinar. And with me is the beautiful lady Diana Dentinger, so who she is joining us from Spain. And yeah, I know many of you are here to listen to her, and I'm super excited to listen to her too. And by the way, I wanted to make sure that all of you are able to hear me and hear Diana, and you will be also able to hear her and see her in a while. And then just so we all know, like, yep, the participants are from different parts of India, and some of them are listening to you and for the first time. And so it's going to be very exciting. And I hope all of you have your pen and paper with you or a book with you to make a lot of notes, because Diana is going to, cover a lot of things about our life and what is it that we need to do with it. And just a while ago, before we started this webinar, Diana was asking me not to be serious. When I mentioned that I got to get serious, she was like, "You should never be serious, and you should be playful." So I think we Indians are very used to be very serious, but I think we got to learn a lot. So let's welcome Diana. And Diana is an international speaker and founder of the Meaning of Life School. She is an innovative change maker and an influential thought leader who inspires people to play all out in life. So in her book, she has been talking about the journey to discover your core personality and purpose and unexplored potential. This is what she covers. So there's a lot to learn, as I told you. So let's welcome Diana. And hello, Diana. So
Oh, hello. Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction.
hope,
Okay,
hope
I'm
I did
glad
it
you
good.
said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you said it. Everyone, get out piece of paper and pen. So this is all about a plan to empower your success, but even more to empower your life. And just to give a little bit more background, I've been a corporate trainer for over 30 years and personal development coach. And after about like 10 years in that arena, using what are behavior models and performance models in which people are one of four types, or three of nine types, or four of 16 types. And I realized people are really so much more, and that started my journey of discovering what I call the personality and needs profile, which is a creation based on this journey I did to understand how people are really so much more. And this took me to studying psychosomatic illnesses. So I'm also not just a corporate trainer, team building specialist, and trainer and coach, and I'm actually a psychosomatic illness therapist, and that's studying all of the connections really between body and mind. And I like to add the soul part in there. There's the predictable thoughts we have that create the predictable emotions. And when those thoughts and emotions are not aligned with who we are, that's where you get the psychosomatic illness. So a lot of my clients, top entrepreneurs and CEOs of companies, we're really burning out because of this drive for success, because they had the plan, they had the plan and they were pushing to make the plan happen, but actually their life was falling apart and their health was falling apart. And so integrating the tools that I have because of the psychosomatic illnesses, then I could give people the meanings. I mean, it could be the meaning of when they cut their finger, the meaning when they bump their elbow, and how understanding this meaning really realigns them to the core of who they are and what they're learning in that phase. So I do a lot of really, a lot of really profound work, but I like it to be light and playful, because we came out of a period from the 19th century and the 20th century, which was all about analyzing people, finding what the problem is, and people don't want to be analyzed anymore. People want to be light, and they want really to connect to their potential, and they want to feel more alive. So I like the tools, even though there's a lot of profoundness in them. I like them to be light and playful. So today we're talking about a plan, and what I promised is, I would like you to make that one plan that just covers everything in your life. So that's all you need, is this one plan. And then I'll integrate this missing P in all of the marketing and all the strategic planning that's ever done. And, so you really can't avoid that overwhelm and burnout. So very first off, let's do a little exercise. And that is, write down, if you are male or female, that should be easy. Write down if you are under 35, or if you are between 35 and 45, or if you are over 45. And then write down if you are either single or married. And then write down if you have children or no children. Okay? This is because there's developmental phases that we go through that are really biological. They're based on your endocrine system. They're based on primary needs. It's another big word that I use. Primary needs that in a certain moment of your life, in certain phases, in certain cycles, there are things that are more important than others. So usually if you are under 35, there's a big strive for success. There's a big strive to find the ideal partner and mate. So there's a lot of need for socialization. There's a lot of need for this intimacy, to bond with an important person in your life. And there's this need to like prove yourself in the world. And that's pretty much, male and female. And then between 35 and 45, there's this phase of, wow, you're seeing the fruits of what you're doing, and you're feeling good. You're maybe changing some things. You might have some children. You're making other, important life decisions, maybe changing your career, things like that. And then 45 over is when, midlife comes on, and your value system changes, and all of a sudden the ticker on the life clock starts moving, and you ask yourself, well, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? Have I made an impact? And your value system starts to change. So just so now, feel out how that feels with your anagraphical age, and with what is sort of an age group drive for what you're really wanting right now in your life. So just, write that down. I like people to take notes so that you can feel this is personalized. So, I've been in all of these, phases and cycles and things like that, except for being a man, So I've been from a female perspective, all of these different ages, and now I am over 45. I have 4 children. I have, been married. I'm also divorced. So, I'm a single mom now, over 45. I'm not going to tell my real age, and with 4 children. So, but in my career, I started out as an entrepreneur when I was 23, 24. So a lot of my perspective is from an entrepreneur basis, but then also having worked as a corporate trainer, I have a lot of perspective on what goes on in those dynamics. And so, now feel out, are you more in the entrepreneurial space? Are you in a corporate or a small company, even a big company or small company? And feel that out, because there are, again, different needs and drivers for where you are in your work world, not just where you are in your personal space, as in married or not married, in a relationship or with children. Because this is all very important about the plan. Okay, so I would like to be really straightforward. The majority of plans flop. Okay, let's just plans flop. Okay, so when you understand this, then you can take things very lighthearted. And we're going to go through some of the way that I've observed that people plan. Okay, but let's go before that. Why is it that people are so fixated on having a plan? And you can write this down too, because people want control of their life. And so when I observe behavior of people, I observe, thoughts and words, I observe health issues. So from a perspective, when I do coaching and training and even just general trends in society, I observe it on a multi-layered level. One statistic that really proves how much control we want over our life is look at the rise in the Western world of cesarean sections. Get this. People even want to plan the day their child is born on. Because if it's not planned, it doesn't fit into the plan. Like, I got to get back to work and I got to do the customers. So we're in this phase, this cultural Western world is what I would more associate it with. This thing where there's a disconnect with natural cycles and the flow of nature and even our human nature. So there's this really big drive at the very base of it that we want this control over something. So at least we feel a little bit stable in this ever-changing world full of influences and impulses and marketing messages and at least when we have the plan, we feel like we can sleep at night. Right? And this is even if when I connect it into, let's say, in companies, what they know. And pretty much I believe across the world where there is formal education system, the plan is, and it's either your plan or your parents' plan for you, it is, okay, I'm going to be a kid, and then I'm going to go to grade school, and then I'm going to go to middle school, and then I'm going to go to high school, and then I'm going to go to college, or I'm going to go to work, I'm going to find my mate, and I'm going to have children and live happily ever after. So there's a little bit of the fairy tale in there, but there's this plan, like life just has to go like this. Well, I mean, how many times have you been on a vacation and it's been planned and it's been exciting and it's supposed to be a beach vacation, something wonderful, and then it rains, And so here, even what comes into play is your attitude. If you are just, things have to go by your plan, you can see your reaction style when a vacation is spoiled by rain. That's something out of your control, right? Or how you just bounce back, So what I'm saying is the plan is just so you always have the resources to bounce back no matter what external conditions change what you have planned. Okay? So I hope that's I hope that's clear. So I like to use a little bit of props. So what I'm now we're going to talk about plans. Okay. The first plan is, because let's say it's the plan that's a generic. So I'm talking big. It's a generic kind of plan style that has been around and growing in importance in like the past 25 years, because we're in this nanosecond society where everything has to be real fast. And I call it, if you want to write this down, one, the party plan. Okay. So imagine really a party. And what is a party? Or imagine even a wedding, So this is the style of planning that even like a wedding planner would use, or a party planner would use. It's the party plan. The idea, it's just real easy. Get the idea, get excited, get to work, right? And now this is the kind of plan where it's obvious that there's a short-term deadline, right? And so I even like to use the example with the Frisbee. This is my son's Frisbee to play with the dogs. You get the idea. So the idea is going to be the party, and you just throw it out. So you throw out the Frisbee and it lands where you can still see it. You're maybe in a field and you throw it out. You're like, oh, that's the destination. That's the party. Where it landed is the day, the time, the place of where the party's going to happen. And then you just take the steps and go to it. What I observe in the online marketing world is that too many people are using the party plan style. Except what happens is when they throw the frisbee, like they get the idea and they're so excited. And when they launch the frisbee, it actually goes way up top to the top of a tree. And, you know, people say, I'm going to do a product launch. And they, up they go. And it's at the top of the tree, and it takes so much adrenaline and so much strength to climb that tree every day to finally get the product launch or the, you know what I mean? This is a style of planning that a lot of people, and I will say mostly male, under 35 are using as a business strategy. And what I'm observing and what I've seen in my clients is there's a lot of burnout. There is a lot of stress. They can see the goal. The goal is only, 6 months. I'm doing a product launch. This is the way it's got to be. But there's so much, they ride on a lot of enthusiasm, which is the positive part. But there is so much adrenaline that so many people are burned out. And on a very practical lifestyle observation, I find that a lot of these young men under 35 doing the party launch 6-month go full out kind of thing is their relationships are falling apart. They go to bed with their cell phone or their tablet or their iPad, and they have intimate partners that are complaining. There's and all they say is just, well, just hold on, it's okay, it'll be finished soon. And so they're the party plan is a perfect plan if you can really ride on your adrenaline, if you really have that goal. But it's a very specific short-term goal kind of thing. And what I observe is that so many people, there are so many on the cost and benefit kind of scale. It doesn't work for everyone. It really doesn't work for everyone. But what I'm finding is that this kind of style of planning, because we live in this nanosecond, everything has to be speed to market way, it's really not sustainable. And so you can use the party plan, what I say, the party plan style, if you know, and if it's communicated to the other people involved in your life, that it's just a party plan. And I really do need just 6 months of patience. And it's going to cost me, day and night working and I hope you understand, because there's no reason for your business to have this conquest if your family's falling apart. But that's what I say. A lot of times this party planning style is in the under 35, especially male category, without children, maybe with an intimate partner, and very often not married. So even in a choice of a business coach, make sure that you choose someone who also understands a lot of your drivers. That's sort of another, you'll learn more about this at the Super Achiever Summit, because there are some massively amazing people that can help you with planning, and people that I really trust with planning. So the idea of having this kind of plan is just fine, but it is a short-term gain. And my recommendation is it's not really sustainable for your life and for your business. And I've also observed couples that are both like on internet marketing, and they both have the party planning style, and that's fine. But the inside information is their life is really so much based on work instead of really based on, let's say, intimacy and love. It's just, there's a lot of things to observe, in the outside world, what goes on. Okay. and even if you are the party planner, as in an executive, or if you're an upcoming executive in a corporate arena, there's a lot of that push for those 16-hour, 18-hour days, and those could be your value systems. But please, be careful, because I see so many short-term and long-term, even health issues of not taking care of yourself, just to reach the frisbee because you threw it out there. Okay, so party planning is one style. Two, write this down, and I call this the precision planner. And what the precision planner does is traditional planning, which is outcome based. I want this outcome, and then I'm going to reverse engineer the steps, and then I'm going to do the SWOT, which is strengths and weaknesses, and opportunities or threats, and I'm going to make it smart so all the results are measurable and things like that. But the idea with the precision planner is you have the frisbee, and you just want to like wing it out, and you wing it out, and it goes and goes, and so you're in the field, but then it ends up like going over a mountain or a hill, and you can't see the whole path to get there because it's like on the other side, right? It's on the other side of the hill, so you're really not sure of all the obstacles and maybe course correction or change, or what goes on before you can get to the frisbee. So this is why a lot of the traditional planning doesn't work, because there are so many unforeseen obstacles, because you can't see where the frisbee landed. You know that you want this is the outcome. You want this, but you've thrown it out there, and it's a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan strategically to get you there. This is what I find more traditional. So let's say it's more old school, and for sure, the people over 45 are used to this kind of plan. Now, the people 35 to 45, they've lived a little piece of their life, not in the nanosecond, everything speed to market. They're in the middle, between let's say the old school and the new school. There's no priority or preference between old or new, because there's advantages and disadvantages to each depending on your personal style. So the traditional style is what we're finding now is just flopping, because if you need resiliency, you need the ability to change, you need to let go of the control of things that you can't control. Because if you threw that frisbee out there, then it landed in a place that you're not really sure. And very often what I'm observing, and I'll show you something, what I'm observing is this precision plan traditional style is very much with blinders on it. So that's why I want to get to plan 3, which is the plan. You have these blinders on, which makes you so fixated for the plan that it has to go that way, that you're not even aware or looking around at the other opportunities that can come. And this is what we were learned, and it's the same thing that I was saying. It's you're born, go to grade school, go to middle school, go to high school, get a job, get married, have kids. It's all. It's just these kind of steps that make us feel safe. Okay. Let me tell you a story. So years ago in corporate training, I did a lot of this planning stuff, and it was all about teams to results. Okay, so this is the result we want in 1 year, and I will be your coach for the whole year. This is the result we want in 3 years, and we'll intensify the coaching, but I'll be here for 6 months or a year. And the very first 2 days with the team, we're always out of house. So that means we went to a really nice hotel, and we had 2 days of training. It was all about building trust among the people of the team, and doing like missioning and visioning and getting this big picture, this big picture of what we can do, what their objectives were, and things like that. And what I started to insert, because I've studied behavior so much, we would do the two days of the missioning, and then what I would do is I would see a team for one training day a month to make sure that they were on track with their results, to make sure, to give a little bit of extra training to help them overcome communication issues in the team. And, after a couple months, people would observe my style and they would say, well, how is it that you know so much about us? And, I created a personality profile, and I have very keen, let's say, observation tools. And, part of learning even the psychosomatic illnesses is that every word has a very precise meaning. It has a very precise metaphor. The words that people use even to describe concepts like success, it tells me so much about them that they're maybe not conscious of on a conscious level. And so I really observe. I'm a big observer. I observe and I listen to people's wordings to understand exactly how they are and how they can be more of who they are, and help them really raise their consciousness and self-awareness. So after, a couple of months, people would say, well, how is it that you know so much about us? I said, well, I've studied behavior. It's been my life, and so what they would ask and what I would plan is then another 2 days, and this is the plan, and it was dedicated to personality. So the P that's missing in any marketing mix, in any strategic planning, is you and your personality. Look at marketing. There's the promotion, the product, the positioning, even the people involved, as in, the team or the client. Everything is always external. The plan that I'm suggesting, which is the one plan, is internal. It's your personality. And I use personality just because you are a person, and your personality is what gets things done in this life. I'm a big believer this body is just a vehicle that houses a soul that also has a soul purpose. And so another reason why a lot of times these plans don't work is because there's no soul in it. So when you have this alignment of your person, your personality, your why you're here, that's when the whole game changes, because that's the plan that you take with you, because it is you wherever you go. So I would do these personality days, and it'd be, okay, well, let's just do personal visioning. The team cohesion and the trust level skyrocketed when each of the team members, first, they got connected to their own personality, which means, on a good day, on a bad day, what really drives them to do what they do, right? Skyrocketed what I call self-love. That's what it pretty much boils down to. That's not a real business word, but, when people could show up at the office really understanding themselves, they had the ability to communicate their perspective and who they were to the other team members. Now, there was this one team vital member who had a completely different personality. And secretly, he was actually telling me, I think I'm going to leave the team. I might even change companies. I'm just not understood here. That's pretty soft. It's pretty soft, I'm not understood. In this personality day, or this personality training, it actually moves me still. The love and appreciation that his team members flooded him with was So beautiful. So really so beautiful. Someone who was ready to leave the team, a vital member because of his reflexive abilities, someone who would speak last, speak very little, in a dynamic team of a lot of doers, a lot of passionate people, a lot of visionaries. And he was really feeling out of place. This team was saved because of his precision. He was the one that was doing like production systems. When each person, and especially for entrepreneurs, when you understand that your personality is this energy field that you are in, then your personality creates the plan because it comes from within you and becomes a part of you. If not, a plan is an external object that has some of your energy imprint on it because you're throwing it out there. But there's a detach. It's something that is incoherent. And very often it's incoherent even with your lifestyle, right? Yeah, when I give examples, then I start to get into the story mode and less the training mode. And I actually prefer the story mode in training. My suggestion is a personality plan, and that is connected to who you are, that you can then take in any plan. It could be, the online world, it could be a business world, it could be, let me write my book. But the part is that you understand this entirety of who you are and what you need, what drives you to do what you do at the core level. It gives you the meaning when you understand who you are. And the reason why I say that it hasn't been in any of the strategic planning processes before is because no one has had the tools. And that is really, my specialty. And I'm very humbled when, my clients say that I know them better than they know themselves. It's very rewarding. It's very, very, very rewarding. And that is my gift, to help people become more aware of who they are. And so we're going to change the metaphor from the Frisbee to the boomerang. If you're going to throw out a project and it has your energy imprint, it is who you are, you throw out that Frisbee, which is your plan, which is your project. But somehow, interestingly enough, it just comes back to you. Because when you plan based on your personality, based on your needs, based on your drivers, based on what you're really capable of doing, and then you can, delegate other skill sets if you don't have those in you. When you build your team, that's important. You throw this out because you're throwing out an energy coherency and alignment that, what? All those beautiful, unexpected things that weren't on the plan are actually going to come and find you. So that's the shift between throw out the Frisbee and take the steps to make it happen. You are doing the steps. Now I'm talking about a boomerang with an energy coherency that you actually, instead of making your way through life, making the plan work, you're actually feeling your way through life. You are bonding with a very solid, grounded energy of what really feels good to you. And then your plan is just to energize you being more of who you are. And that's what I have found in so many clients' life. It's the connection with your personality is the basis and the only plan you need. Now we're going to switch metaphors. What is this? This is an apple. And what I would like you to do in this plan, it's a 5-step plan. And I just cut it open because I had a plate and a knife, is we're going to get to the core. Now, what's in the core? The seeds, right? So when you get to the core and your core, which is your seed, you can then place your seed in that field and watch it grow, but it's a part of you. That's why your personality has to be the very basis of any plan that you do. And this is why very often plans fail, is because there's no participation of you in that. Or it's made by a strategic planner that doesn't really understand you, because maybe you didn't even have the self-understanding of who you are and what you really wanted. You didn't understand what really drives you towards, success, or to make an impact on the world, or what turns you on, because when you understand who you are, it's the most energizing thing. The plan is not really energizing. It's you being you with that energy imprint on the plan, throwing out those great ideas and seeing them come back in realization to you. So are you ready? Let's do 5 steps. Okay. That was a 4. So let's do the 5 steps. And I've got a little piece of paper over here just to remind me. Okay. So we're going to talk about core. So I like that word. So it's core. Step 1, core questions. Write that down. I actually even have a little chart here that I could write if you need that. Do you need that? 1, core questions. Core questions. Oh no, because then it comes out, maybe it comes out backwards. Or on my screen, I see it as backwards. 1, core questions. Core questions are, Socrates is what we have in the Western world philosophy. Who am I? Why am I here? Which is your purpose. What more can I be? Potential. When you have answers to these, who am I? Why am I here? What more can I be? Your core personality, you want that really strong. You want to have a strong core. The core, even in any martial arts, the core is like the 3rd chakra. It's the grounded part of you. When you've got the core and you're grounded, that's when you can fly, right? You can't fly when you're just airy-fairy. You're not grounded. There's no substance. The core questions. So let me tell you another story. There was a woman, we were in a mastermind marketing group together, and she was curious about what I do. And so I say, well, let's just have some sessions together. Oh, fine. So we're doing her sessions, and I'm connecting to her core, as in who she is, and why she's here, and her potential. She realizes that her marketing plan is totally disaligned with who she is. She realizes that she had done a lot of branding work. It didn't even talk about who she is. So, and just going through her personality, she's like, yeah, what has happened to me? I'm so turned off. I used to love to dance. I used to be, more feminine. And this wasn't coming out in any of the video marketing she was doing. Zero. I mean, the person who I was observing in her potential, who was shining bright in, our sessions, was absolutely not in any of her marketing messages. That's the importance. What I'm saying, the basis, the first step of any plan is to get to the core with these questions. What's your personality? What is your purpose? And what is your fuller potential? That way you can step into the potential. The next 2, core qualities, especially when it's business. What are these core qualities? Each of these qualities that I'm going to give, because there's more happiness that comes in life when we give than when we receive. It's giving to others, and especially if you're in business, it's about serving others, right? My elevator speech kind of thing, let's say on my website, is I help busy entrepreneurs and executives who have lost themselves, because that's what happened. People lose themselves on this path to success and achievement and serving others. So it's important to serve others, but if you're doing it without the core of who you are, then you lose yourself. Or if the plan is guiding your life and not your personality. So 2 core qualities. What are these qualities, this uniqueness that when you come to market, you are different? And I'll tell you another story. So here's this massively important client who in Europe is a really big change maker in a couple of European countries. And we have 2-day intensive together, and there's just a lot going on in his life. A lot, the big people with a lot going on in their life. And he's pretty balanced, but he has just some like little kind of things that he needs solutions to. And I'm connecting him to his qualities. And one is like, well, since I go to business in a lot of important other European cities, what I like to do is just have my own apartment because I'm sick of living in hotels. And I'm looking through his qualities, and I was like, well, what I'm seeing, and tell me if this is based on your qualities, your personality. I can see sort of a penthouse. It's rooftop. You've got a big terrace because you have to entertain important people. And he's like, wow, how can you see that? And I was like, well, because it's in your qualities, it's in your personality. Because of this leaders are usually on the top floor. There's just a lot of symbology even, and this kind of stuff. And so I said, well, so when you create this energetic picture, right, of what is aligned with you, then already, and it feels good. So we're back in, it feels good to him. Yes, that feels exactly like the kind of apartment that would make me feel good, and want to be there and do business and all the other stuff I have to do. Clear vision, clear about the qualities, clear about something that could seem insignificant. Wow, he could stay in 10-star hotels, but he wants his own apartment. 2 weeks. And oddly enough, this apartment pretty much fell on his lap. Okay. Core qualities are your identification of what feels good for who you are. Okay. 3. 3 is core concerns. Core concerns. This was, part of one of his concerns. Just let me get this off my plate. I want my own home. Other, concerns can even be when you go beyond yourself. Now you go out into the market, and your market has concerns. They have things they want solved. So the majority of traditional planning starts here, where I call phase 3. It's to solve a problem, a concern, right? Even the word concern, because I love words. Words in Latin, or even in Italian. I live in Italy. It's concernere. It actually means to be a part of. So concern, actually, in the origin of the word, is not worry. It's actually to be a part of. With concernere, concern is to be a part of. So that's why I say when you get to the step 3 of your core concerns, it's already a part of the core questions, who you are, that you've answered. It's part of the core qualities that you have, that you bring to solve these concerns. So another client, and I use his example very often, a Shark Tank judge. And Shark Tank is this TV program, and it's in the entrepreneurs, to help entrepreneurs with financing, and which are the best ones get the. So he has his hands in a lot of different companies, right? And he's wanting more freedom. And going through who he is and his personality, we restructured his perception on being in all these different entrepreneurial adventures. And thank goodness, he thanks me to this day that he did not get out of some of those businesses because he wanted freedom. He actually stayed in because he wanted family. So his concern was not having enough time, but we actually solved that by him understanding his personality, why he was in those companies, the qualities he bring, and it was more important for him to actually, even though he was concerned about not having enough time, the way he started to show up in all of these different entrepreneurial businesses actually saved him time, because he was just there to be the father and even sort of the mother figure in this business. That's, I know that could sound sort of like a vague explanation. The root is always in the plan, the personality. So wherever you go, you're in the core of who you are. So when you set that seed, you bring yourself. And when you bring the best part of who you are, that is where it's very energizing. It's where it's a space where there is no, where like time disappears because you're doing what you most love, right? The next 4, write this down. Core, consistency. So you want to be consistent. You want to have now the plan with the steps. Now you're aligned with your personality, with your energy, your soul's in it. It feels good. And now it's the consistent action taking, which is easy because of the previous steps that have been done, because the phases you've gone through. And step 5, you get to the core conquests. And you can even, throw them out like a frisbee. What is that thing that I want? What is that thing that will really make me proud when I have it? And you can have your little conquests. You can have your weekly conquest, which could be, to make 5 sales calls, or, whatever it is, as long as there's that alignment. And like I say, my preparation is in unblocking psychosomatic illnesses, but I have preferred to reverse engineer that process so people don't get to that point, because there is, a skyrocket in, cholesterol, diabetes. There's skyrocketing things for people to have control of their life, and it's creating so much of a disconnect in naturalness, and also a lot of more disorders and dis-ease. We see that so much more. So what I offer people is a personality plan to begin any kind of game plan, and it works wonderfully with any kind of other plan, because you know yourself better. And here at the Super Achiever Summit, there are amazing quality people to help you have your plan. And my role is to have you get first more connected to who you are, so you really, love yourself and, your qualities. And then you bring that to you setting up your entrepreneurial business, setting up your online business, to even making investments so they work for you, to writing your book, to getting more into your purpose, to creating your team. These are all such important things, based on my experience, that are next step. I'll tell you a personal story, because I believe that there's a lot more trust when people tell a personal story. So it's back in September of 2006, and like 3 days before school starts. And I have a teenager who's 16, a teenager who's 14, starting his first year in high school, a 4-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old son. And, it's September, so kids are getting back to school, and, I'm getting my business brochure, and I'm like, okay, I've done studying, and I've taken sort of a little sabbatical to do more studying, and I've maintained my word of mouth clients. I got the plan now back in, because all my kids are going to be either at, kindergarten or nursery school. And I was like, I got my plan. Well, my husband just walks in, and we had a couple turbulent months, and he just walks in. He says, I decided I'm going to, leave this family. It's just, way too much, and go live in another city, because there's, more work in another city. Or that was hiding, the, I have another woman anyway. So my plan totally changed. Let's say my plan really changed. Because there are so many things in our lives that, so my plan really had to be then, he sold the house. He pretty much just got up and, left. And so it was very difficult to continue then doing, corporate training, uh, just a lot of emotional issues, even, you know, with children to go through, and all that kind of stuff. Um, but being that I walk my talk, I got back into my plan, my personality plan. Okay, well, you know, what am I good at? Well, I'm still, you know, a good teacher. I'm still, and so how I could make my this transition, unexpected transition into taking care of 4 kids by myself, into you know, moving and supporting them, you know, because I'm a real big believer in, you got to have the home life that works and that supports before you can go out there and change the world, right? And I got into my core. I was confident. I knew what I was still good at. And so, you know, I just switched. I said, okay, well, I'll just start up having, you know, individual coaching sessions in my home. That way, if my children were sick, I didn't have to rely on a babysitter. I could, you know, raise them. I, you know, love taking my kids to school, picking them up. So I've adapted my lifestyle and even my personality based on the needs of those around me. You know, I got a lot of, I mean, that was one of the stories of a lot of surprises of needing to course correct in my life. And, you know, always as a single mom with 4 kids. And what I found creating this, let's say, starting small again, just the coaching sessions, people coming to my home, is the thing that I'm probably the most proud of, is really the quality of my children, and how this role of mine as a parent, especially as a single parent, being really the only person they can count on physically, is that I get so many word of mouth clients. And sure, you can't base, you know, you can't base your business on, you know, just word of mouth clients, but my business really in these past, you know, 9 years, 10 years has been so much word of mouth. And something that people will say, which is so heartwarming, is that they'll say, you know, hey, Diana, I'm calling you because I noticed your kids are so great that you must be doing something right. Oh, you're a coach. And since my life is falling apart, or I'm having communication problem with my kids, or I'm wondering about divorce, and since you've been able to go through all this, you know, maybe they know more of the personal story issues and things, you're the person that I can count on. You're the person that can resonate with me because I'm going through those difficulties. And I see it, the proof in the pudding is because I see the quality of your kids. So if you are in any kind of profession, you know, walk the talk. You need to incarnate your message, right? And that's why in a lot of difficulties, I remember even when my youngest son was 5 and of a flu, he ended up with pleuritis and pneumonia, and emergency operation in the hospital. And that was, you know, 3 weeks where I just lived in the hospital with him. And because I get to my core and it's like, okay, well, this is another learning experience. This is as it comes. We really, that's what I'm saying. When you just have the plan that work is going to go a certain way, that life's going to go a certain way, and you don't have that connection to your core, you are so easily destabilized by things that happen. A lot of my clients that I'm seeing now in like the over 45 group, they have older parents. There's an increase in Alzheimer's. There's the women that are now the empty nesters, and how do I recreate my life? They're looking for more. I started out asking about your age. Respect the values that you have. Respect where you are right now. When you understand the core, you make your plan who you are. So, you know, the personality profile that I will be, talking about at the Super Achiever Summit, and really um, is what I've been using in the past 15 years in both corporate and one-on-one, private coaching with clients. And they have all asked me, Diane, need to get this out in a bigger way. So pretty much these past 6 months, I've actually been restructuring business to be able to serve more people with a lot of synchronistic. When I got clear, I wanted to shift from just the corporate clients, that I wanted to reach more of a mass population out, and a lot of opportunities came. These such as to structure my systems and my to be able to support more, mass, let's say, people, and also a way to the personality profile out that works. And I'm getting, amazing, always word of mouth clients who've contacted me and love the readout and are getting so much from it. And so really the next phase of my business will start really at the Super Achiever Summit, where I will be offering this personality profile, change your life like it's changed so many other people's life, giving you that clarity, confidence to have you be connected to who you are. So whatever plan you planted, the seed of who you are in whatever project you are. So of course it's going to bear fruits, because like I started at the very beginning, is no personality. There's not enough you to the core, what feels good, what really you need, 360 degrees of your life to feel comfortable. Let me think, any other questions? Well, what I do with clients is because I use a lot of etymology, significance, the meanings of words. When people speak, then I understand what they're saying that maybe they don't understand as a metaphor. And I also use drawings. I have people draw a self-image of themselves, which is the starting place. And a lot of times I ask clients if I can keep their beginning self-image. So here is the self-image picture. Pretty famous European businessman. And as you can see, this is how he feels right now. This is how he sees himself, as this wall with cracks in it. That's the starting place. So a lot of people want to talk about the plan. They don't see clear enough where they are right now. And so elaborating his profile based on the questionnaire he filled out, and based on this simple self-image picture of how he sees himself, where I start with coaching. Now, it wasn't in his plan when he threw it out. The stakeholders need that much, and all my, we're going to hire another 10 people, and his plan to get a divorce. It wasn't his plan to not have his daughter talk to him anymore. It wasn't in his plan to start having health issues and having, his knees bump out and have to get knee. Because his plan was so external that his in was falling apart. One of my clients, even someone who has become then a business partner here in Europe, a well-known health coach. He is actually the health coach of the health coach of Anthony Robbins. I worked with a lot of people that I I can't share their names. People with a lot of inside information. So many people have the Frisbee plan. They have the party plan, they're burning themselves out. They have the precision plan, they've got the blinders on, and they got to go through the plan while everything else around them is falling apart. And that is not my objective. That is not my wish for you. Too many times. A lot of behind the scenes things that you don't see, and a lot of people that are showing up, and it seems like their life is really, and it's not. It's because they didn't do the personality plan, because there's way too much disconnection between who they are, because their energy field and their health are shattered. Stress, as we know, stress is the killer. Stress connected to the plan, where there is actually zero stress connected to the personality plan. When you've got a game plan of your personality, there's no stress because it's who you are, and you can stretch to reach your potential, but that's an excitement energy. That's not stress. I'm saying with even the Frisbee on a financial basis, when you throw out you and your potential because you can see it, because you can feel it, because it's vibrant, then finances, the economic return, because the boomerang comes back. The boomerang comes back, and that return on the coherency is also financial. Even your personality plan is to monetize who you are, monetize your life story, monetize the things that you can bring to people. So anyway, getting back to this client and his falling apart world, to get him to build the foundation because he did a wall. This imagery, can you see that? He could have drawn something else, right? He drew a wall. It's the foundation of things. He's a leader because, again, leaders create structure, containers for other people to feel safe in, right? So in the imagery. And so it was where the leaks in the structure, and the process of coaching him was getting connected to who he is and the talents, so he could create the foundation for who he is, and then make other people feel safe, which was also why his daughter wasn't communicating with him anymore. I hope you can feel that or see that. I really love the work I do because it is so profound, playful, because I like to use props sometimes. People say I seem like Mary Poppins, she's got the magic purse and she pulls out the plant or she pulls out the lamp, and I got a lot of things that I can pull out of my purse or my hat, if you want. A lot of tools and techniques, because it really does. Everything starts about who you are, and it's who you are actually programmed to be in this person, in this personality, in this lifetime. The personality profile is very elaborate, as in it takes your core qualities in 12 different facets of your personality. It's like an X-ray vision of really what goes on inside of you. And I feel honored. I feel very honored to have been the person connected enough to my mission to be able to bring all this in. And I use this hand gesture because I feel very guided, which means I feel guided from a higher source of intelligence that has chosen me, and I have chosen it to bring this kind of information because we're ready. Now that we've gone through this nanosecond fast pace world, people are wanting to slow down again. They're wanting to reconnect to who they are. If you notice, there are more people doing meditating. There are more people doing yoga. More people are wanting to finally, since they've burned out they're really wanting to reconnect to themselves. And so this is a perfect time at the Super Achievers Summit to get to be the first, really the first people to have the opportunity to get their own personality needs profile, which is a real game changer, because it's been a game changer in a lot of really important business people around Europe and around the world. And another thing that I wanted to add, because is what my perception of the Super Achiever Summit. One, the quality of the speakers. And I want to add this in because I've followed, or I know the speakers who are also with me at the Super Achiever Summit. They've all had their life story, but what is so unique about us as a group is that we all really know ourselves very well. And differentiating from a lot of the conferences that I've participated at, or spoken at, they're really, each of the speakers is really living their life purpose, and they walk their talk. They're very aligned. They're not high strung, super stressed. They've gotten their stuff together, and we're all very relaxing, very, you can make it happen. You can. We are all very much you can people without that high pressure stress. I find, and I'm very honored again to be a part of the speakers here, because it is a very human. We're very human. We're very down to earth. We all have very strong family values. We all have that core of the family as a support, which is why we've been able to launch ourselves into our dream lifestyles and our dream mission and what we're bringing to the world. It's going to be very fun and exciting, and a very exciting event because of the pureness of the energy of the speakers. We really are very heart-centered people, because we all work at the core, from the core of who we are. And I find that when you're in an environment with people that are very heart-centered, because they have that self-love and self-respect, and the energy is vibrant and genuine. It's a very genuine energy. So, my invitation is to come to the Super Achiever Summit. And I had asked Ram if I could offer something special, especially for those of you who have stayed on to the end. If you would like to get VIP tickets and VIP seating, I am going to be doing some 2-minute laser coaching with various people on the stage. To be invited, you will have to have filled out the personality needs questionnaire. Now, you can go ahead and be invited to be on the stage as a possibility if you go ahead and fill out the questionnaire, and you can find that at my website, which is https https and my first name and last name, which is Diana, Diana, Dentinger, DENTINGER.com/step1. So it's only important that you fill out step 1 questionnaire. And if you have VIP seating, you want to be invited on the stage, some kind of laser coaching, then I am happy to do this, because I want to bring people on the stage to play with their personality. I want for them to draw their self-image picture before and after, so you really feel and you see the transformation that comes when people go from, like this guy, ordinary picture of where he is now, to connecting to potential. It's actually it's a very fast process, because you have everything within you already, right? That's the idea. There is no stress when you know you have stuff inside. You just have to have the consciousness and the awareness to what to bring out. And that's what I help people with. So go ahead. Thank you again for attending. You've been wonderful participants. I know this has been long. I hope you took all the notes on the different kinds of plans. Party plan, you can do it if you got a lot of adrenaline. Precision plan, start with the personality game plan, and that's the winner. So back to you, dear, and we can see if there are any questions.
Hey, that was a lot of insights, and I really loved the session. And I've made a lot of notes myself. And one more thing was Diana gave a link for them to fill out the form, but the link doesn't seem to be working. Can you please repeat the link once again? It's https://
Yeah,
www.dianadentinger.com/ /
yeah.
step 1, right?
Oh, wow. Hold on. Okay. So glad you checked that. I'm actually on my, since I'm doing the call on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So glad you did that. Okay. Yes, thank you. So it is
Mm-hmm.
actually dianadettinger.com
Mm-hmm.
/pages. Thank you for reminding me and checking that.
Mm-hmm.
Pages /step 1.
Okay, now it's working. Mm-hmm. So,
Super.
all of you who had that question, I got a couple of questions from people asking, like, the link is not working. So, here's the answer.
Super.
And we have some more questions that
Go ahead.
you would want to take. And there's one question by name from a person by name Rohit. He's asking, like, being in a time bound culture, give us one tip on how to not lose cool when things don't go the way we want.
Uh, when you're connected to the core of who you are, you know that everything that happens is either for you to get to the next level, or there's a lesson in there, or there's a challenge which will get you to the next level. There's a message there for you. And it's important that you get the message. And going back to when my 5-year-old, emergency operation, and, so I've got 3 kids at home and 1 in the hospital, and a lot of question marks, going off. And, the worry and the concern and, emergency lung operation. And, either I was gifted or I've worked on always having a positive attitude, that there are things that I can't control in my life, but there's always something in it for me. And one day, so his father had come from out of town to spend the night and do a couple nights. And so I was walking to the hospital just to get some fresh air, and a friend calls and says, where are you going? And now in Italian, I said, I'm going to the hospital, but it's in. We use the preposition in the hospital. And this Freudian slip came, and it said, and I said in Italian, because I live in Italy, I said, I'm going on vacation. When I said that, I understood what this boomerang is all about. It came out so natural. I'm going on vacation, because what I learned from that is that I don't have to be everything for everyone, even though that role, single mom with 4 kids. And to have that one-on-one experience with my son, who was 5, and a couple times a day, they would just be, torturing with the IVs and the blood tests, and we would have to pick up this little skinny body and, do x-rays every day. And it was so painful. I was there to teach him to breathe. And we got so good at just breathing. We had the most zen, beautiful experience of 3 weeks in the hospital, emergency hospital. The most beautiful zen experience of having him learn to breathe. And the nurses would come and they'd stick in another, and he and I would just breathe. And he would come and he would afterwards, he's like, "Mommy, is it over?" And I was like, "Yeah, they left a couple minutes ago." He's like, "I didn't feel a thing." There are so many gifts in the unexpected. And there are so many gifts in the things we don't plan that can, in that split second when they happen, they're really painful. They're out of our control, which, gets us upset. When you can switch those and really be open, come on, I'm ready. What is the beauty in this that it's not working? And that was just one. I get really moved with my clients' stories, with my own stories, obviously, because, okay, let's go back to the other plan. Party or, a wedding, something beautiful. You don't do that narrow plan. How many parties have you been to where everything has been so precise and the people are like high strung and they're upset because it's not going as the plan, and they're missing just the synchronicity of the unexpected? Or, you gotta be grounded in who you are, and you gotta really know with confidence, I can take it, right? You want to invite positive experiences to express your potential, but to express your potential, you need the challenges too. So many parties have been ruined because people are just so structured. Let go, relax. If you know anything about energy, the energy of excitement and lightness and being who you are, and joy even through disaster, keeps you on a vibrational space that the boomerang, opportunities are going to come. Opportunities will come. You got to trust. That's what I've learned, probably the most in my life, is be centered in who you are, know your qualities, know what you can give to the world, what you give to your family, what you give to yourself, you give to your family. Stand in that empowerment of what I just say, personality, maybe it's sort of like a reduced kind of a word, but stand in that core. Things line up. Really trust. I go on with my, with the answers too, but thank you everyone for staying on so long.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was something that I too wanted to add, that we are 20 minutes past our webinar time. So I think there are a few more questions that I will get answers
Go
personally
ahead.
from
I'm
you.
here.
I'll send an email so you can reply back to those emails and I can send it back to them. So so I think it's time for us to wrap up this webinar, and it was great having you, Diana, and we learned a lot from you.
Yes.
And we all look forward to have you in the Super Achiever Summit, and let's rock this. And there's a
Yep.
lot to learn. Yeah. So
Super
thank you.
duper.
Thank you once again for getting on the webinar, and see you in a week's time.
Yes, in Bengaluru.
Yeah, in
Okay, and
Bengaluru.
I'll see everyone else at the Super Achiever Summit. Really, sign up, because it's going to be amazing. Really genuine, wonderful, heartfelt speakers who really do want the best, want so many people to achieve stress-free. That's the name of the game, be an
Yeah.
achiever, but don't have your life fall apart. be an achiever and really stand in the beauty of your fullness. Okay, thank you, honey,
Thank,
and I'll see you soon.
sure, sure.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye.
Okay,
Thank
bye,
you.
dear.
Bye.
Sure, bye bye now.